Tonight, when the sun goes down, you're going to do something your ancestors never could. You're going to turn on a light. And with that single action, you'll erase something humans lived with for 300,000 years. Darkness, real darkness, the kind where you can't see your own hand in front of your face, the kind your ancestors sat inside every single night. But here's the question nobody asks. What did they actually do in there? The obvious answer is sleep. But that's wrong. And once you understand what ancient humans were actually doing after dark, you'll never think about your nights the same way again. Start with fire, because fire is where everything begins. The earliest solid evidence of humans controlling fire comes from Wonderwerk Cave in South Africa, roughly 1 million years ago. Before fire, nighttime was simple. The sun went down and you stopped. Moving in darkness meant becoming food. Leopards, hyenas, and lions could see just fine. You couldn't. So every primate before us did the same thing when the light died. Find a safe spot. Stay still. Wait for morning. Fire changed that equation overnight, literally. A campfire creates a circle of safety roughly 30 feet across. Inside that circle, predators won't come. And that circle gave your ancestors something that had never existed before in the entire history of primates. Extra hours. Before fire, the useful day ended at sunset. Maybe 12 hours in summer, as few as 8 in winter. Fire suddenly handed back 2 to 4 hours every single night. And over thousands of generations, what humans did with those hours changed our species completely. In 2014, anthropologist Polly Wiesner spent years sitting with the Jus Yuhuansi Bushmen of the Kalahari Desert, one of the last groups on Earth still living something close to the original human lifestyle. She recorded every conversation she could. What she found was extraordinary. During daylight hours, about 80% of conversations were purely practical. Who's hunting where? Which plants are ready? Complaints? Logistics? Daytime talk was work. But at night, around the fire, everything changed. 81% of nighttime conversations were stories, myths about the origins of the world, tales of people in distant places, jokes that made the whole camp laugh. Wiesner argued that firelight conversation is where human culture was born. The campfire was the original theater, the original classroom, the original church. It's where humans first learned to think beyond the immediate present and imagine things that didn't exist yet. But fire wasn't the only thing happening in the dark. Something else was going on. Something modern science only rediscovered 30 years ago. And it will change how you think about sleep entirely. You were not designed to sleep the way you sleep right now. In 2001, historian Roger E. Kirch published a paper that shook sleep science to its foundation. He had spent 16 years digging through historical records, prayer books from the 1400s, court records, diaries, medical texts, letters from ordinary people. Over 500 references spanning centuries. Every single one of them mentioned the same thing: first sleep and second sleep. Before the industrial age, humans didn't sleep in one continuous block. They went to bed shortly after sunset, slept for about 4 hours, then woke up, stayed awake for 1 to 2 hours, then went back to sleep until dawn. This wasn't insomnia, this was normal. This was how every human on the planet slept for most of recorded history. What did they do during that quiet window? Everything. They visited neighbors. They reflected on their dreams while still fresh. They thought. A doctor's manual from the 1500s called this period the watch, and advised patients it was the best time to study and reflect, when the mind was calm and the world was still. Historians had been reading these references for centuries, but they kept mistranslating them. They couldn't imagine that people ever slept differently than we do now. The assumption was so deep it was invisible. Then science confirmed what history had been saying all along. In 1992, psychiatrist Thomas Weir at the National Institute of Mental Health removed all artificial light from a group of volunteers for 1 month, 14 hours of darkness every night, exactly what ancient humans would have experienced. Within weeks, every single participant settled into the same pattern without being told. 4 hours of sleep, 1 to 3 hours of quiet wakefulness, then 4 more hours of sleep. Nobody suggested it. Their bodies just did it, as if something ancient had been waiting inside them the whole time. Veer measured their hormone levels during that wakeful period and found something remarkable. They were producing elevated levels of prolactin, the same hormone released during deep meditation. They described the state as peaceful, reflective, almost otherworldly. It wasn't a gap in sleep. It was its own distinct state of consciousness, one that most modern humans have never experienced. So what killed it? Light. Paris installed street lamps in the 1600s. Cheaper candles followed, then gas lamps in the 1800s. Then in 1879, Edison commercialized the electric light bulb. And within a single generation, the night as humans had known it for 300,000 years was gone. Modern humans are now exposed to artificial light an average of 7 to 8 hours past sunset. That light, especially blue light from screens, suppresses melatonin production. Your brain can't tell the difference between a light bulb and the sun. When light hits your retina at 11 p.m., your body thinks it's noon. Sleep fragments. Circadian rhythms built over millions of years quietly collapse. Researchers found that just 1 week of camping with no artificial light resets your melatonin cycle by nearly 2 hours. Your body starts producing it at sunset, exactly as it was designed to. That's all it takes for 300,000 years of programming to reassert itself. We didn't just change when we sleep. We erased an entire phase of human consciousness. That quiet, meditative window between first and second sleep doesn't exist for most people anymore. Instead, we have insomnia, and we treat it like a disorder. But what if it's not a disorder at all? What if waking up at 2 a.m. and lying there in the dark isn't your body malfunctioning? What if it's your body remembering exactly what it was built to do? For 300,000 years, your ancestors spent those hours in silence, thinking, reflecting, telling stories that built civilizations, and then someone invented a light switch. We traded an entire state of human consciousness for the ability to see at night, and most of us never even knew what we lost.